It's been 6 weeks since the Syracuse women's soccer team chalked up a W in the scorebook. Perhaps today will be different. The Orange host a Wake Forest team that hasn't won a game in 4.5 weeks. It's a Thursday night conference battle from SU Soccer Stadium. It's a pleasure to bring it to you right here on ACC Network Extra. Pleasant good evening, everybody. With Brandon Ross, I'm Jonah Karp. Coming up, we've got basketball. The women's team out in Michigan tonight looking for a magnetizing win over the Wolverines. Get it? Because have you ever seen X-Men? Magnets are Wolverine's biggest weakness, metal claws. Anyway, more on that after the break. Does SU have any gas left in the tank? Buddy Boeheim saying, you know what? Hey, this is New York. We pump our own gas. Sam, we saw Buddy go down in the first half, didn't end up returning. What did Coach Boeheim have to say about his condition? So Syracuse was winning this game for quite some time, and then they weren't. But they managed to stay in it for a little while, and then they didn't. But they made it close toward the end. And hey, if I would have told you that Syracuse would have scored 88 points against the number 9 team in the country, you would have been like, who are you and what are you doing in my kitchen? Here at Marlins Park down in Miami for Super Bowl 54 opening night. Sports brings us together. No matter where you come from, it's a universal language. So I wanted to find out what people say differently. Come on. Do you pronounce it water or water?
Oh, it depends on if I'm wearing clothes or we talking about jewelry. What are we talking about?
What you carry things in, like going on a trip, you pack your
Suitcase?
or
Luggage?
Regular water? Or we talking about that water?
the word that starts with a B.
Bag?
A bag.
A bag?
A bag.
Is wowder when you're wearing jewelry?
Yeah, or you got like, a little bit of clothes or you got that drip, a little water.
That's what B-A-G, a bag.
B-A-G-E-L.
No, not a bagel, a bag.
What did you call that?
A bagel
Bagel.
and a bag.
And a bag.
Yeah.
You put bagels in a bag. You don't put bagels in a bag. When do you start taking the clothes off and then you go back to water?
Ooh, that's a late night question. I can't answer that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's late night.
Yeah, no, there are kids watching. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
No, I put bagels in a bag. And
Put bagels in a bag.
I wave my flag.
Thanks, Mike. Let's set the scene. It's the final game of the season for Syracuse. They're up by 3 in overtime. Their first overtime game of the season, but Wake Forest has the ball. And if they score a touchdown, they win the ball game. They have the ball right here on the 6-yard line, and a touchdown did come next, but not for the Demon Deacons. How about that for a turnaround, huh? A 3-game losing skid coming in, a 34-point road blowout heading out in the first conference victory of the season for the Orange. Career days and points for both Elijah Hughes and Buddy Boeheim, and a career-high 8 assists for Howard Washington, all leading to what appears to be a bit of a hiatus for the offensive struggles of Jim Boeheim's squad. In Syracuse, it's inevitable that you'd experience some bad weather. So maybe next time, instead of picking up your phone, pick up an axe. Or maybe a bow. Or maybe try your hand at rock climbing. Either way, probably a better option than this. Jonah Karp, NCC News. And in baseball, the Yankees need one more win to clinch the division title. They could have done it last night, but the Rays decided to pull out a victory in 11 innings. So the magic number remains 1. And if the Bombers beat the Angels tonight, they take the American League East crown for the first time in 7 years. Masahiro Tanaka takes the bump tonight for New York in the Bronx at 6:35. Meanwhile, the Mets are off tonight. They're out in Cincinnati tomorrow to begin a series with the Reds. Jacob deGrom will get the ball for the Amazons, looking to extend the win streak to 3. The Mets sit 3 games back of the Cubs and the Brewers for the second wildcard spot with 10 games remaining. And in the NFL, more Antonio Brown news. The Boston Globe announced today that Nike has dropped the star wide receiver as a representative. This announcement comes in the wake of sexual assault allegations against Brown that were filed back on September 10th. Yesterday, it was announced that Brown won't be prosecuted because of the statute of limitations. No word yet on whether Brown will suit up for the Patriots on Sunday against the Jets. The last time these two teams met, it was September of last year, September 29th, a 5-1 North Carolina victory. UNC hasn't lost a regular season game in 722 days.
Not many teams that can say that in any sport in the country right now.
DeVries Works her way along the right side, sends it inside the circle, but it's poked away again. Just tight congestion. This is not a UNC team that gives up a whole lot of goals aside from penalty corners.
No, they've had a fantastic year. And, you know, the key when your defense is as stringent as they are. We'll just look at this takeaway at the midfield.
Graziosi whacks it. Kick save. But it's still loose inside the circle.
Now that was rare. That was a beautiful save by North Carolina. And the ball deflected high. They did not call any foul on that deflection off the keeper's pads because it went into space. Syracuse was looking to see if they could earn a penalty corner in that situation, but the ball went into space, which has resulted in no call, which is great. It was a great call.
You saw Olivia Graham, one of the star freshmen, playing up in the attacking zone. She's a defender, and she's an awfully good one at that.
Yeah, Olivia played midfield on her club team in high school, and so she has a really tremendous sense of the game, and you know, she has been steady and solid for Syracuse, but has the skill set to be able to overlap, which is great for Syracuse.
Madsen hasn't knocked away from her. And she's going to stay with it. 9 minutes left in the first quarter. Another whistle blown, and this time it's going against the Tar Heels.
They called a slight lift on that free hit, which is why Syracuse is able to create the turnover.
Let's see if they can capitalize. 2 shots for Syracuse. No shots so far for this potent UNC offense.
You could see the way North Carolina is setting up their defensive unit there as Syracuse had the ball is they are jamming in the middle. They are inviting the sidelines only to try and attack.
Luby can't hang on. Reme Ricardo, redshirt freshman. This is a very new-looking defense for the Tar Heels. If you were to point out any sort of Achilles heel, it might be on the defensive side, only because they don't have as much experience as the rest of the team.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I think that they knew that was a key area of concern, or just, you know, an area they needed to focus on in their off season. And obviously, you know, North Carolina has seen really a tremendous play by them, and that's resulting in the limited number of goals that anyone has scored against North Carolina this season.
So far, the Syracuse defense holding strong. A defensive stalemate early on. Who's going to break the ice? A whistle blown along the far sideline.
And again, we see Olivia Graham that's creating that turnover, creating that foul, and seeing more aggression out of her, overlapping from that backfield.
Here comes DeVries, probing the circle, staying with possession. Kicked away by Hendry. And it rolls, but it stays in bounds. The Tar Heels playing it toward the corner. Syracuse has gotten close a number of times early in this game. Just can't punch it home.
A great transition by North Carolina. You see they quickly transitioned to the left side of the field to get away from the defense, and were successful in that transition.
Nice job by Graham to poke it away.
So called it advancing there. The ball hit Olivia Graham's foot, which creates the first penalty corner of the day for North Carolina.
North Carolina with 68 penalty corner opportunities this year.
You notice new this year, the time is stopped on penalty corners. You see that whichever defensive team, they provide their own defensive equipment. You notice they're, you know, just for the safety of the game, all players in a defensive corner unit are now wearing protective gear. How you see there the penalty there, where the ball went from Olivia Graham's stick up off of her elbow that created that penalty corner opportunity.
A few new rule changes for the 2019 season. We have quarters instead of halves now. The insertion, who's going to take it? Here comes Madsen, sends it backwards, and it's picked off. Madsen tried to get fancy, and the best goal scorer in the country decided, I'm not going to take it.
That was a missed opportunity for Syracuse, because when you are able to pick up that pass, what's so challenging, because the defenders have the face masks on, they don't play with face masks. So you saw clearly there that they had a hard time getting the ball up to the offensive attacking unit. But nonetheless, a great positional defensive play for Syracuse.
Down the sideline, and it runs out of bounds. Looking for Catherine Hayden. She has 11 goals. It's really a 1-2 punch for the Tar Heels. Matson gets a lot of attention with her 16 on the season. But Hayden, another forward, has 11. Carolyn Hoffman.
And you're right, it's so hard to plan your game plan, your defense of North Carolina, and Matson gets a lot of attention, and that allows, you know, the rest of their attacking crew to pick up the pieces if they're double teaming Matson.
You just don't know where it's coming from so much of the time. Sent upfield by Ricardo. Tar Heels with some space in the attacking zone, looking for Hayden. It's poked away by Quigley. Gerard at the block S. 7.5 left. 15 seconds to shoot for Syracuse. Buddy Boeheim holding it and surveying the court. Beats Guerrier on the right side. Jab step against Boeheim. Dribbles inside the paint. Floats it up with the right hand and makes it. Fancy move for Quincy Guerrier. He's up to 7.
My goodness. Guerrier looks great.
McBride the other way. Holds on the right side. Feeds Boeheim at the top of the key. Warren holds at the free throw line. Gets it to McBride. Feeds to the corner. A trap. McCarty was holding it. A whistle blown against Guerrier.
They'll call him for a foul. Boeheim says he was straight up. Would not be surprised if Quincy finishes this game. He's been the only one that's taken it to the rack successfully tonight. And that's what the 44th year head coach wants to see.
Jim Boeheim holding both arms in the air like he's a child on a roller coaster. McCarty at the line.
Well, he's got 2 children in this game.
They're adults. This is too strong from the free throw line. Dolajai gets the rebound. Back to Syracuse the other direction, right to left on the court. Gerard dribbles around, looking for some separation. Bounce pass to Dolajai, left wing. Flips it to Buddy Boeheim, guarded tightly by McCarty. 10 seconds to shoot for Syracuse. Kick to the left corner. Guerrier lets the 3-ball fly, and he's got it. That's the first 3-ball of the year for Quincy Guerrier, and he gets the fans going inside the dome.
What I tell you about this Quincy character, he's changed this game.
Under 6.5 left in the second half. 52-41. Syracuse back up by double digits. McBride drifts on the right side, picks up his dribble. Feed up top to Boeheim, back to McBride on the right side. Kick out Jones, left wing 3. Yes. 6 minutes left. It's a 9-point ball game.
That's all right. Shrug it off and get Quincy Guerrier the basketball. Let him eat.
Rather an 8-point game, 52-44. 3-ball up top and a foul call. Warren was guarding Gerard, and Gerard draws the foul. That's 4 fouls against Warren. 5 minutes, 50 seconds left. Joe Gerard to the free throw line. 52-44, Syracuse. First shot good. Joe Gerard had 24 points against Seattle in his last outing. Started the season by coming off the bench. Makes the second shot from the line. Tonight he has 8 points, 5 boards, 4 assists. Gerard made his first start against Seattle. Third shot, gets all 3 of them. Gerard up to 9 points. The news coming into the game, Jalen Carey out indefinitely with a right thumb injury. Set to have surgery on Friday. Right wing 3-ball is off the mark for McLarty, and the rebound taken down by Syracuse. Pushing quickly, Hughes the other way, lays it up and in. A transition bucket for the Orange. 57-44.
This is more like it, and it's all thanks to Quincy Guerrier. has changed the atmosphere in this building.
Cornell now with their backs against the wall. Jimmy Boeheim feeds McBride on the right side. Back up top, Boeheim, head fake. And now he falls to the ground. Couple players on the ground. Whistle blown. Foul called against the Orange.
Not sure about that one, Jonah. Looked like Girard was in good position on the right elbow, and Jimmy had a little shove to go with it.
A few thousand officials in attendance right now that agree with you. Boeheim to the line. 57-44 with 5:09 left. Remember last season when these two teams met, this was about the time of the game where Cornell had to race what was a 15-point deficit. They actually took the lead in that game before Syracuse ended up pulling out the victory. First shot. Misses too strong, and Syracuse gets the board. Dolezaj comes down with it, a strong rebound. And the Orange take it the other way, slowing down the tempo. Joe Girard beats Dolezaj in the left wing. Looking for the backdoor feed. Dolezaj just keeps it. Gets it back to Girard. 10 seconds to shoot for Syracuse. Up top to Hughes. Finds Boeheim on the right side. Lets the three ball fly. Can't hit. Misses too strong. Jones falls to the ground as he gets the rebound. A whistle blown. A foul called against Dolezaj.
A lot of fouls in this game, huh?
Rather, it's against Girard. That's his third foul. 4:42 left. Jones at the free throw line. First shot, got it. 57-45. Cornell had the lead at one point in this game. It was back in the first half. Syracuse entered the locker room up by just one. Second shot is good. Makes them both 57-46. Jones up to 15 points. Didn't start today. Having a great game off the bench for the Big Red. Hughes dances around the left corner. Drives baseline. Up and under layup is no good. Gets his own board. Goes back up with it. Misses off the window, but he was fouled. Elijah Hughes getting aggressive and getting fancy. Right near the cup. 4:23 left. And Hughes will go to the line. Thanks, Katie. The Syracuse men's basketball team beat Boston College 76-50 last night. Those 50 points, the second fewest the Orange defense has allowed this year, second to the Virginia game back in the season opener when SU held the Cavaliers to 48 points in a loss. Next game down in Blacksburg, a rematch with Virginia Tech on Saturday. It's a noon tip, and our coverage begins at 11:30 with GZA countdown to tip-off. That's not for another few days. There's actually a basketball game tonight. The women's team is hosting Georgia Tech. Syracuse has never lost to the Yellow Jackets at home, but Coach Q says that tonight isn't exactly a cakewalk.
Georgia Tech is a much improved team this year. Man, they're playing really well, and then you look at the teams. Man, they may be struggling some, but they have veteran players, so you never can take those games for granted. That's why teams become good because they get older and then you get veteran players, so you can't take any game for granted.
To Q's point, there's only one freshman that gets significant playing time on the team, but also only one senior. That's Francesca Pan, who leads the Yellow Jackets in scoring. By the way, a cool opportunity tonight. ACC Network Extra is providing an all-female broadcast led by two Syracuse alumni, Beth Mowens and Isis Young. Tip-off at 7:30. We're actually covering select Syracuse women's basketball games throughout this season here on WAER. Our coverage continues on Sunday, January 26th, when the Orange travel to Wake Forest. In baseball, the Mets agreed to part ways with manager Carlos Beltran earlier today. Beltran, the third manager to lose his job this week as part of the investigation into the cheating scandal that led to a World Series title back in 2017 for the Houston Astros. The Mets hired Beltran as the skipper on November 1st. No word yet on his replacement. Jonah Karp, WAER Sports.